all this morning. It's Pesty Connections again, and I'm excited to have Alyssa Bust on this morning from AllPro Pest Control in Brisbane. How are you, Alyssa?
I'm very good. How about you?
I'm good. I know we've just had a chat and we're both nervous and trying to get comfortable before we get into it. And I've actually approached you to come on board for a couple of reasons to do this chat with me. Is obviously I've got to know you a little bit through Barry, your boss, who I think is absolutely fantastic. And also I got you to do a little bit of a feature in the Pesty Profiles, getting to know you section in the newsletter. And I kind of, gelled with you a little bit, just reading your answers. Then I got to meet you at Pest Tech in Brisbane. And it's funny because you weren't what I was expecting. You are tiny. You are absolutely tiny. I'm small.
I know, I'm very short. 5'2".
I've got, it's funny because I've met so many pesty female technicians. Majority of them are tiny, and you are tiny, and I'm small myself. So so I really want to get into this because I'm in absolute awe what you can do, and with your size, and so I'm actually really, really excited. But I guess for the listeners, tell us how you got into the industry.
Well, it's pretty funny. I mean, I never saw myself being in this particular industry. It was sort of just like perfect timing, and then
oh, can you answer that? Is that a work phone call? See you in action.
Oh my goodness, I don't answer the phones. Oh my gosh. Hello. No, they hung up.
I am not going to edit that out, Alyssa, because
my goodness, I was just like, I do not answer phones. I hate answering phones. I feel like, oh no, I'll just leave it. It should be fine.
Barry will come running in a minute. He'll go, what's going on? So we'll get to say hi to Barry.
I told him to leave. I was like, no, I need to have a free spirit of talking.
And this happens. No, it's all good. All right. So actually, this will make us comfortable. All right. So funny story. How did you get into the industry?
Yeah, so it honestly just wasn't something I saw myself ever doing, and people are shocked whenever I tell them that I work like as a pesty, and like, if I go down to the tavern and speak to a few people, like a few of the oldies, I tell them what I do, and they're like, seriously? They're like, you? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I'm surprised you're not working in an office. And I was like, stuff that, like, I would not want to be in front of a screen for like ages.
Well, that crap happens. The phone rings.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
happens, and you got to answer it.
But like, I've always been very, like, I've always sort of wanted a job that was sort of a bit more like physically demanding. Yeah. I mean, I'm not really a fan of the gym, but if I can be a little bit more active, like, that's what I enjoy as well. And then
get paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. And then being on the road as well, and then like, I love driving. I've always had like a passion for cars, so if I can drive something, I'll like go straight ahead. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
And so being able to go around like areas like that I haven't been before, like, it's really good. Like, I'm starting to learn like different areas and stuff, but I hate the city. That is terrible. It's way too busy. Yeah. It's shocking. The people that drive around there, I'm like, I don't want to work out that way. Keep me here.
Yeah. So, I guess when you got into it, did you bump into Barry, or what did you? So you seen an ad?
Yeah, so I saw an ad on like a Redlands group, and I sort of just went and looked sort of into like the business and stuff, because I was pretty nervous because I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do it. And then I sort of just like went through the business page, and then I think, because it was on Facebook, but then I think I applied through the website, and then I saved like the number in my phone, like, so that way if I did get a call, I'd know who it was. And when Barry and I did start talking, he was very shocked by that, like, that I saved his number. And I was like, oh, I mean, I'd like to know who I'm about to answer to, like, so I can answer the phone in a polite manner, not in my usual way. But and it was very bright and early in the morning. I think he called me at like 7 in the morning, and I was like, oh, okay then. That's
Yes.
great. And then I think I went for an interview, and I think he was a little bit unsure because I would have been the first female tech that he would have had.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was happy like to take me on, and I think it's been great like ever since. Like we've really like we really get like along as well. Like I think he can be like a little bit protective of me because I am so like young and the only female, and whenever we have like if there's people that are sort of you know, sort of like, I think most women in like pest control, they've had a bit of like issues with some customers.
You do. You face some challenges, and
yeah.
Not a lot these days, but
it's not too bad. Like I think I've only had about like 2 or 3 people that have sort of been like, oh, like you're a female.
I know. Yeah, my female tech that we've got on, and it comes down to, I think, the attitude of the technician as well, because look, you are going to have, you know, the odd people who do have that reaction. And I know when they say to her, oh, you're a girl or you're a female, and she's like, oh, last time I checked, yes, I was, you know, and like she sort of cracks a joke and gets the customer comfortable really quickly. And it's and I think a lot of the times it's not like the customer's having a go or anything like that. They're literally are shocked because they're expecting a male to walk in the door. I guess times are changing, and which is good. And but what were you doing before pest control?
Retail. So I've worked at like clothing shops, shoe shops, and also like a bit of hospitality as well. But I think by far this is probably the job that I felt like the most comfortable, and I can be me.
Yeah.
Like I know there's a lot of no, we're talking about women, but like with like retail, that there's I think just so much competition, and they're not very like, they don't really advocate for like mental health or look at like the bigger picture. They may like, I found that in retail they were mainly that like not a slave, but they're like, you're here to do the work, that's it. We sort of like, you don't care about your outside life, like and
actually, now that you've pointed that out, you are kind of right. I think you know, we are really focusing on mental health in the trade industry. But I haven't actually really spoken to too many people in the actual retail industry. And I think because you tend you turn to rock up, and a lot of times the boss isn't there. I guess you're just there. You turn up. You're there to sell that clothing or whatever it is that you're selling.
Well, I've managed like a few stores and stuff like that, and I always just felt like the higher up management just they just didn't, they were all about like the money mainly. Like they wanted you to make, like even during COVID times, you know, you'd be on by yourself for like the whole like 8 hours, and you'd have to shut the doors if for like a break and stuff, and then if you needed to go to the toilet you had to wait. Like it would be like terrible. But and you know, as a female, like, you know, some women's have needs, like, you know, so you have to be able to sort of compensate for that. And funny enough, like with Barry, the topic came up about you know, obviously women are a lot different to men, and they have to like stop occasionally to use the restroom. And he was like, I didn't even think of that. And I was like, well, you better start. I was like, you've got a daughter, you've got a wife, you should know these things.
Absolutely. So how long have you been with AllPro now?
Since February. So not almost coming up to a year, so not a crazy amount of time, but I personally feel like I've come very far.
You have. I know you've jumped in leaps and bounds, and I know that just by reading some of your stuff, and also talking to Barry, because he absolutely raves about you.
I know. I'm like,
and I know as soon as he put you on, he rang me and he goes, Nicky, I have this girl and I've just got a great feeling. He goes, I've never wanted to, even thought about putting a female on, but you know, she applied and anyway, he was just overexcited, and he still hasn't stopped raving about you. So that is absolutely awesome. But yeah, tell us. All right, so tell us a bit about your training. Who are you still in training? Where are you with your qualifications?
So I'm qualified as a pest technician and for termites.
Yep. You have kicked some goals.
yeah, very, very quickly. So like, I think I did like, because Barry said you've got 2 years to like complete all of this, and then I think with the pest course, I did that by correspondence. Personally, I would not recommend it, and I don't think Barry would ever want to deal with that again, because it's a bit of a drag compared to going in for the course for like 5 days and stuff. And I think I finished it in like maybe 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. I think it's the doing it like not face to face and having to do it, like those videos are a lot of work, and I think a lot of people think, oh, I'll just do a video, send it in, pass, done, and it's all completed.
Oh, there's a lot more to it.
There is so much more to it, because you do have to prove that you know your stuff. Look, it's all part of the course, but yeah, it's very stressful.
I like was not a fan of getting all the videos done, and Barry would be like, with the phone,
all happy, like as if you're this film star.
Like, oh my god, stop! We would literally be at a house, and I'm like, I remember one time I set up the phone on the window. I was like, you need to go so I can do this, like, because I just stuff up.
Like before, you kicked him out of the office.
Yeah, I was like, get out.
Started, had to go.
So but I just find it easy. Like, I've got nothing bad to say about anyone, but like, if I can sort of just, if I'm ever going to be on camera, I'm just like, go away so I can focus it on myself. Like, I don't have to worry about you or get distracted, or if you make a funny face and I laugh, then I'm not.
And then do you quickly go through it and go, do I look okay? Am I standing right? And
I'm all about the good angles.
I absolutely I totally get that, because when COVID first hit and we had to announce the Women's Award, I thought, how are we going to do this? Because I've got no stage now to announce the award. So we decided that, okay, let's do a video premiere. And because everything was in lockdown, it was just like, well, unfortunately, it was left up to me. And I was the only one, so I hired a proper videographer, and I had everything written down on my paper, so I knew what I had to say. And I remember the first poolside take that I did at the Sheraton Hotel in Noosa, after 27 takes, the videographer said to me, do you think we can just throw that paper away and maybe just do it off the cuff? He said, because, and even he was getting frustrated, and I said, this isn't my thing, and I was nearly in tears. And I think the video went for 5 minutes, and that took me 7 hours.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sounds like me. I'm like, retake.
I've gotten a little bit better since then. I've kind of gotten a little bit used to it, and I've learnt, I'm a bit off the cuff. I can't retain things very, very well, so I've just got to do it off the cuff. But I totally get where you're coming from. Like, it's not easy to stand in front of a camera, have your boss looking at you at the same time.
Yeah.
and like, make sure you get it right,
I know. Oh, if we could find the videos, the amount of bloopers there would be, I'll be like, oh, for F's sakes, like, stop it. Do it again.
Do you reckon
probably.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to ask if he has, because I would actually love to take those bloopers.
Oh, I'll have to see if I can find it together.
And
it'll probably be me dropping the F-bomb every 5 seconds.
Again. All right. So tell us a bit about AllPro. Tell us a bit about what you focus on there. Tell us a bit about the business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as you know, Barry's come like quite fast, starting with Baz's Bug Busters. What an Aussie name.
Yeah, I'm glad he changed it.
It's like, it's really good that he did, because I reckon right now it just looks so much more professional, and I think that's what people want as well. Like, they want someone that they can look at to trust, and it's good that he went with the colors that he did, because like from what I've heard, like the color green, it's inviting, and like it's like some people say it's like a color.
You've been listening to Barry way too much, Alyssa.
Oh really?
he tells me about his colours and stuff.
Oh my god! I don't think I've ever spoken to him about it.
Haven't you? Yeah.
No, I don't think so. So that's whack.
Yeah. He spent a lot of time on choosing his colours. So
yeah. Well, I reckon it was a good colour combination. Like, not something that's super like out there, but something that's very like professional.
Yeah. And
stuff. So I'm glad I came into the business when the uniforms were like really good.
Yeah.
Not the orange. I think I'd look like I've come out of jail.
You didn't want the the Baz's posters on your shirt. Do you reckon you would have applied for the job if it was Baz's bug busters?
Nah, I reckon it looks like really great. Like, so it's very professional. I think that's what a lot of people want as well. Like, and you want to look very like presentable as well. Like, I mean, some of the areas we do, they're very like expensive areas. So a lot of people do like people that like are professional as well. And we try to be as professional as possible, and you know, always rock up with a smile on our face, even if we're having like a crappy day, but
really shitty day, which happens a lot of times.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty good. I can, like, my customer service voice it's on point. Doesn't even sound like me. I'm like, oh,
that's flat out. It's all just one, you know, flat line. It's the same.
Yeah. But and we mainly stick to the areas of like the Redlands. Yeah. But we do, like, I think the furthest we've sort of travelled out is like Ipswich way. So but we don't go out there too much, and then we do a bit of work in the city. And what other areas do we do? We sometimes go down to like the Gold Coast as well. Like, we've got a few big like estates that we do, like complex buildings. And so we do like home-based stuff, and like commercial things, and like kitchens and restaurants and stuff like that, and even schools as well, which I think is really good. Like it's very good to have like sort of a variety of things, not just always going to like a
make the job so attractive. And I think one of the things we're trying to point out in these types of videos is how versatile the work is, but also how it's you know, as you're talking before with retail, it's literally you're there, you get in there, you do a job, and you know, they don't care. You just got to do it. Whereas you know, working with someone like Barry, and there's so many of him like in the industry, well, maybe not a lot like Barry, but who operate similar to Barry. And I know with us, with our girl, we're very accommodating in the fact that, you know, she's got children and she's got one that's at daycare. So yeah, obviously, you know, we've got to make sure that she can get the child to daycare. So we've provided a vehicle which makes it easy for her. And, you know, she's going to have to take some days off, because, you know, you can't tell a 4 or 5 year old child that, you can't get sick. So I think it's an industry that I think is very welcoming for women, that, you know, it can work around women, and
and very like accommodating as well. And like I've found with Barry, like, he's very, I mean, none of us really have children except for Jason, but he's got a little daughter, so he's got a company vehicle that he can use as well. But no, it's very good. Like, I think Barry's team is probably the first like business I've worked for where they are very considerate of things that also go on the outside. Like, whereas with retail, they were like, the moment you walk through the door, you leave everything at the door, and then you come in, you do your work, and then like, they'd never really want to talk about it, or they say that they would, but like you could talk about it, but you just knew that they weren't really, they were more just nosy rather than wanting to actually help.
Actually getting there and help. And I think that, I mean, now that we've touched on this, I guess, conversation, and if you don't mind, I would like to get into it. And look, I knowing a bit about you, I know that you're someone who has suffered from depression, and I'd like to bring this up because I am someone who suffers from depression myself and have for many, many years, and you know, and have learned to control that, and sometimes can't control that. It just, you know, you have your good days and your bad days. And I think, you know, how do you work with it? I mean, some days you have shit days and days, and I guess, and I know you have suffered from depression for many years. And how do you get around it? What's your coping mechanism?
I mean, for a very long time, I wouldn't really ever try to like work on it. I was always kind of the person, oh, the world's against me, like, or the slightest little thing would be the biggest inconvenience, and I was very like reactive to things. And I mean, it's difficult, I mean, being a woman in general, because our hormones go all over the place, so that plays a huge part in it.
Especially when you get to my age, it's not good. That's not good.
Oh, it's a very, like, it's a big struggle, and I think like that's just another thing that people have to, you know, especially like males in the industry, like, you know, they don't really know all the things that we sort of go through. And I know some of the stuff I tell Barry, like, we're pretty open and there's a lot of communication there, which is good. And he was like, oh my God, like, this is,
which is what we're doing right now, you know, hopefully talking about it.
Yeah. But like, I think last year was probably my biggest year, and there was a lot of like sort of, you know, like very traumatic experiences. And I've had a few, like, growing up, and you know, I always felt that I was on my own. And like, you know, what I've found is, you know, you can talk to someone and they can say like, oh, try and do this, or, you know, if you like stop focusing on the negative and focus on the positive, it gets better and stuff like that. But you know, what I've found,
always here for you, man, I'm always here for you, but sometimes, you know, they're just words. And
like, you know, people can say that, and some people like hold their words to them, but you know, like everyone's got their own lives, and it's sort of like, I'd like to think that I'm someone that, you know, I know if I've ever had friends that are going through a difficult time, I'll be like, I'm finishing work, like I'll be there, like after, like I always try to be, you know, there for people when I can, like, because I know how difficult it is. And I mean, with last year being such a big year for me, it was definitely a learning curve. And what I found is that I had to choose myself to make better choices and change like my mindset. But you know, people can tell you all the time, but I think it's purely up to yourself. Like, if you want to change, you've got to make those changes. And like, you know, they say things don't happen overnight, but I think with making like certain choices and or, you know, tackling situations a little bit better, or because I mean, I was a reactive person, especially when I was in like a really deep depression. I was a very angry person, and I mean, I like to think of myself as like kind and like having a good nature, like, and being like open to others. And so I sort of wanted to portray that, like, I didn't want to be someone that seemed like angry all the time and things like that, like, but sometimes you can just get really pushed to your limits. And
we're just losing a picture here for some reason. I don't know if it's back on. I don't know what's happened there. It's all good. sorry about that.
That's all right. But yeah, like, I think just, it was almost, I mean, a lot of things sort of helped me. And like, from every bad experience, I've always found, you know, there is always going to be something better around the corner. Like, but life is always like up and down. And I think that's just the mindset you got to get into, is that, yeah, like, it's difficult, but if you can push through, like, you can go so far. Like, if people were to meet me a year ago, then I'd be like unrecognizable. Like, if they, like, in my mind, like, regarding like my mental health and my mindset and stuff like that, like, I think you've just got to have a sort of, I don't care attitude in a way, like life, just let life flow and stuff like that. Like,
and I kind of agree in most ways I actually do agree. I think, when things are happening and you think it's the absolute world's worst, and and I'm a prime example of that, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just in things that have happened in my life in the past 6 months. And, at the time, I know in my mindset, it was, everything was just so unfair, and I can't understand why this is happening, and like how do I get over something like this? And then, I look to where I am now and what I'm doing now, and I just think sometimes things happen for a reason, and it's pretty shitty what happened, but things do happen for a reason, for the betterment of myself and what I'm working on, and I do have this industry, I guess, to thank. I have this industry to thank for the stresses too that go on, and my own business, and but saying that though, I think we're very lucky in this industry, because I think we've got so much support, and listening to you now, Alyssa, and I know, the girls, and males and females, the support I've had in this industry is second to none, to be honest. It's just really amazing, and I do like to touch base on it, because I like people to hear that, hey, you know what, we all have bad days and shit days, and including me, and I'll be honest, I'm having a really bad week this week, and I can still jump on here and do an interview and have a chat, and that's okay. I don't, we all don't have to be perfect.
I wouldn't say that anyone should ever strive to be perfect, just to be themselves, like, because if you're trying to live up to an expectation that you have to yourself, like, as much as you want to reach it, if like, you got to make sure it's realistic, or like you're making realistic, like, goals, or for example. And I mean,
I've got to learn that. My goals tend to be like up here.
Oh yeah, same here. Like, I've got a problem with wanting so much so fast. Like,
I can't, in some ways I don't have a full stop either. It's just like I get these ideas and I have to go with it, and I've always been wired that way. It's kind of funny. A lot of people think this is, what is she doing? She's just going bang, 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 bang. And I'm like, well, look at my past. Look, I've always done it from day dot. That's how I'm wired. I get these ideas, and and I put it up there, and I know, my family's always saying, can you bring it back down to here?
And just have like a bit more of a, like, more like easier steps to take, not just looking at the full main picture. Like, look at what you need to do to like get there, and what I've found is, like, because I used to like dwell really like hard on like a lot of things that were out of my control, and as soon as I sort of got out of that, I think that is what helped me. And then, if something little would happen, I'll be just like, oh, okay, well, if I can't control it, there's really nothing I can do. So there's no point sort of sitting like with your feelings and being like upset or angry at the world or someone, like, because if you just sit in that negative low energy, like, it's just going to drag you down, and it's just going to stop you from like, potentially like growing from it. And
I think you should become a therapist. I think
I mean, I can probably need more help than you, but
I can learn from you.
Like, I think it's very funny, like, because I mean, with like where I was like about a year ago, like, it's so crazy to think like of where I am now, and I never saw myself becoming like better. I was always just so negative about like so many situations, or being like, oh, what's next? Like, what's the world going to throw at me now? But I think it's all just about your mindset, and just trying to see positives in like every situation. And it was almost like, even though it was something that I sort of took time, it was almost like one day I just woke up and it just felt easier, and I felt happy. And I like, because I mean, I used to sit with like my sadness a lot, and I think that was like because like it was just something, I was so used to it that I was comfortable with it. And, you know, you usually stay in things that you're familiar with rather than going out of your comfort zone and things like that. And personally, like with this job, like I reckon the job was one of the best choices I ever made.
I was going to mention that actually.
Yeah. And I felt like it was just a really good choice, and I'm glad I did it. Like, even though it's something I never saw myself doing, I'm glad I've at least, you know, given it a go, and surprising, like, a lot of people like me, and like, and yeah.
Well, I definitely like you. I've met you in person, and I like you, and I'm really, really glad that you came out for dinner that night. And just getting to know you a little bit more, and I was able to convince you to do this, because I know that I actually don't know if we would have done this video if we had met face to face, because I know you're a little bit apprehensive about it.
Barry was saying, "Come on, like, you should do it," and then I'd said yes to you, and then he was like, "Oh, if you really don't feel comfortable, then you don't have to." And I was like, "I've already said yes now." Like,
and this is what I love about Barry, and I guess, and what is so great for you is how supportive he is of you, and that makes, you know, the world of difference when you've got your peers and you know, and the people who work around you supporting you and accept who you are and accept that you go through these challenges. That's half the battle. It is absolutely half the battle to be able to get you to where you are. And I know that he's, when I say he's pushed, not as in a bad way, but really tried to get you to connect with certain people in this industry that he knows that you go with, and who's gonna, you know, get you up here. And I really I can't wait until the leadership conference, because I will be telling Barry that you're going, that he has to send you because there is just going to be so many amazing people that I want to introduce you to, including my staff, my female staff, that I know that you're going to really, really gel with. And but I suppose we should get back to with the pest control side of things. What other challenges have you faced? I mean, I know that you get the odd, oh my gosh, you're a girl, but how do you go? Like, you are little with the equipment.
Yeah. I mean, Barry's been pretty good. I think he's always trying to figure out little, like, new tools I can use or new gadgets. And
like the belt. He went and bought you a belt the other day, didn't he? Like, sure, he put a video up on the women.
Yeah, he saw that and he was like, "Oh, what do you think of this? Like, I reckon you should get this," and blah 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 blah. And he got it, and I was like, "Yeah, this is perfect." And then and like, same with like the mosquito machine. That's
a big machine.
Oh, it would be probably way more than me once it's filled up. Like, I'd put it on my back and just go freaking back.
Probably. You do the turtle, don't you? This is the turtle, and then you're up like.
Oh yeah, exactly. I already feel like that with the backpack. I'm like, what is this? Because we have like the 15-liter backpacks, but Barry ended up getting me like a 10-liter one, like, just in case. Like, I can carry them, but if I was doing it constantly for every single job, my back would be pretty sore. And then he recently just bought like this, it's a huge blower for me to do like mosquitoes and stuff. So it just like connects to the hose, and then he's got like added like this little belt like thing to clip it in, and I used it for the first time, and I was just like, I felt like I had a machine gun. I was like, da, 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 da. So he's been pretty good with trying to figure out things to make it like easier for me. And I
bet you have some laughs. I bet you he absolutely cracks laughing at you sometimes. I know the boys do with Cherie, in a nice way, not in a bullying way, but they
we're always giving each other shit, or we like to scare each other. Like, I'll get my camera out and I'll hide, and I think I've hidden like the pantry, and then he's gone past with it, and he's like, oh.
This is what we want for our TikTok challenge, right?
I know. I just have to keep getting more videos and then put it into one big one, and it'll mainly be him. He'll just be like, every second. But it's
well, the best one I like so far is you guys just dancing in front of the car. You know, like, I think Barry's moves were the best. His moves were the best.
his typical dad moves. Like, I'm like, oh my God. It's embarrassing.
Oh dear. So all right, so I mean, I guess you've answered most of it, but what would you say you do love the most about the industry?
I think like being on the road and like getting to like, you know, not every day is different as well. Like, it's not like you, like, I mean, with retail, for example, you know, you're going into the store, you're opening it up, you're at a screen and you're dealing with people, and I love going like sort of out and about, and it's also like the team as well, like the team environment.
Yeah, I think Barry's got a great culture there in
Yeah.
the business, which is a big plus.
Yeah, like he always like tries to have like everybody like getting along and having like joint sort of like activities, or like he's and he'll celebrate like our birthdays, even like he took us all like axe throwing, because a bunch of our birthdays they're all like close together, so he took us axe throwing, and that was hilarious. That was so fun.
It's quite physical, isn't it? Yeah, it's quite physical. I haven't done it, but I've been told
it's actually pretty fun. I think I only got two bullseyes, but it was pretty cool, and it was fun being able to get out of the work environment and then just enjoy like each other's like company, because we all get along, and sometimes we don't see the office ladies too much, so it's nice to be able to get out and see all of them as well. And then we'll sometimes do like team dinners when we have like meetings and stuff, and sometimes it'll be like at the house. And I think one time we I was like, are we having a meeting or are we just eating? Like, there was like donuts and biscuits.
Yeah, socializing.
Yeah, it was hilarious. But like, I think it's really good that we can all sort of like be in each other's company and have a laugh and talk about stuff. And even when we're on the road, like, or if I ever need to like ask questions, like the other guys, they're all happy to like answer, or we can have a joke around and stuff like that. So it's just a very good team environment. Like, that was the biggest thing that I was like after, and you know, a boss that I could respect and that would also respect me. And I mean, Barry's been amazing. He's been so lenient, like with so many things. Like, I had surgery on my neck literally last week, and he's given me like some time off, which was good. Whereas if it was in retail, it would have been the end of the world for them. But and yeah, so he's very good at like accommodating, and you know, it's health is your wealth, like, so you always want to make sure like always able to like be in a good position to actually like work and stuff. And you know, and that they're all the guys are happy to help and stuff, and they're all very protective because I'm the only female and stuff. But like even in saying, like, compared to working with women, like, you know, with the guys I can joke around, and you know, we can just have fun with it. And there's like, even if we make like funny comments, you know, they don't take it solely to heart. And that was, I felt,
but women can be bitches. My God, when we fight, I tell you,
there's always beef with someone in retail, like always. Like, and I'm not about that. Like, I like to be able to go to work, get along, and be happy with everybody. And I think that was another thing that also helped me working in like a male-dominated industry, is like putting me out of my comfort zone, and then making me sort of stronger as a person, like very strong-willed. And like, and even if I do ever have like issues, like with, you know, some clients like questioning my work ethic as being a female, they're always like, no, like, you know, you're great, like, you know what you're doing, you're very smart. And they're always very like encouraging, which is really good.
They're putting you back into that right mindset, and they will be telling you the truth too. So easy to be able to doubt yourself. And how much, I guess, you're probably on the road quite a bit on your own. Are you still, and even though you're termite qualified, as you know, there's still always so much training involved. So are you still working with the boys a lot when obviously you're going out doing a lot of
sometimes
termite management systems and things?
Like, I'm more so on my own, but I do love see, a lot of people, like I've heard, don't like doing the barriers or the Trelona systems, but I actually don't.
You like getting into it, don't you?
Yeah,
I've seen you with the equipment.
Yeah, I actually think it's quite fun, and then also like having everyone there as well. Like it's almost like being able to work with everyone, and then sort of just getting it done, and like working as a team. Like it's really really good. Like. And the physical work, it doesn't, like Barry doesn't have me on it too much, because we've got another like male technician, so he was like, no, like they'll be doing mainly most of it, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah. He doesn't want to overwork you.
Yeah. But no, it's pretty good. Like I think it was definitely like a very smart choice that I made, even for other women. Like, I mean, even just in general, I never even knew that this was really like a job or a career path you could take, like, because it's not spoken about. Like, I mean, when you're in school, all they talk about is, you could work in like a science lab, or like mechanics, or all the other trade apprenticeships, and they never really talk about like pest control and stuff like that, which I think it's something that they should do, like, because I mean,
never really been put out there either, and I think that's been one of the biggest issues. Is it's even though it's been there, and also because it's not an actual apprenticeship, I suppose, it's not being put down as a choice for a lot of people at school. We've also never really publicly put it out there and pushed it as this is an opportunity for not just women but men. It's a great opportunity, and I think that's one of my questions that I want to ask you is, what do you say to someone who is a woman or a female who is considering coming into this industry? Because most will go, oh, I'd like to give it a go, but I don't know if I can. What do you say? What would you say to her?
I think the thing is like, if it's something that you want to do, or like just something that you're even interested in going with, just give it a go. Like like the worst that you could do is maybe make a couple of mistakes, but then having like a good team, they can guide you to be better, like because realistically they want you to be better, so then because you're representing their business, like and
mistakes are great. I always say to my team, don't worry about your mistakes, because once you do it, you won't do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Then what happens? It has a follow-on effect. Even in the office, they do a blunder in the office, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And it's like, I know they won't do it again, because they actually see what one little mistake can, how much of a follow-on effect it can make. And, and look, it happens. No big deal. It happens. You've done it. Now we'll move on from that.
You learn from it, and like, I mean, I'm sure I've made mistakes and stuff like that, but especially Barry, like he's very encouraging, and I think that's what a lot of, like, if there's a lot of other bosses and stuff like in the pest industry that are also like that, so many people will come so far, like, and not just like men, women as well. And I think women sort of need just that extra push, even like in any male dominated trade, like they're always going to kind of be like, oh, like it's more for men, and I mean, you still get comments where, like, I mean, I've had comments from people in the past, like, and they were like, how about you go back to your job in the office? And I'm like, mate, actually, I'm on the road, and I probably know a hell of a lot more
my job.
than some people. Like,
it is getting less and less, thank goodness, because I think it's just not being tolerated anymore. And
I think anyone that sort of makes comments like that, and I mean, some people are a bit old school and very strong-minded in the fact that no, men do the harder jobs, the more physical jobs, but it's like, at
the end of the day, I know, like, obviously what Cherie, my girl, is capable of doing. Sometimes, she can't do it to the level of what the boys will do, and I'd never, we would never expect her to, but we wouldn't give her those particular jobs that she's not a concreter, and so there's just some things that we just wouldn't make her do, and but there's some things we wouldn't make our boys do either. And but I have, like, we have males answering our phones at work, and I think it's really important that, you know, it goes both ways.
Yeah, they just need to mix it up a little bit. And the more people that sort of do it and stuff, like, it's just going to help so much more in the future and stuff, like, you know, because not every female wants to be in front of like a screen.
Or it's not just people like me.
I mean,
I know the nail that way.
That's about it. Like, even Barry said that he'd get me in the office sometimes, and I'm like, nah. And he's like, oh, in summer you'll want it, and I'm like, I'll just sweat my ass off. I don't care.
I really wouldn't cope out on the road, and I actually know that. But apparently I am going out on the road in Fiji, so that will be really interesting. I can see a few meltdowns, probably a few F-bombs and everything that comes out of that one. So
I'm sure there's always some F-bombs that are thrown around when you're working.
I'll try and say it really nicely. All right, just finishing up, Alyssa, who inspires you in this industry? Who do you look up to? Okay. You're probably going to say Barry, aren't you?
It's probably going to sound typical, but yeah, probably Barry. Like, I think even just knowing him as a person, like, and he's always said, like, you know, we've had very similar, but also very different, like, upbringings. And, you know, he's always like, I'm very big on how he encourages people and tries to be a very, like, you know, always trying to be better and always wanting to make, like, better choices. And he's not all just about him. He likes, like, other people having you know, input about the business and stuff like that. And, like, he's not afraid to ask for help as well. And I'm like, I know when I was younger, I would never ask for help. I would just try and do it. But he's always been very, like, encouraging, and that's something that I would, like, really want to, like, do as well myself. Like,
and that is why Barry is where he is now.
Exactly.
It really is. He's approached so many people, you know, in the industry regarding his business, and, you know, that's why he's got it to where he is now. And I absolutely take my hat off to him. I really do. Yeah. He's one of my favourite people. You know, I tend to categorise all these people that I know in the industry, and Barry is definitely one of my favourite people, and one that I actually class as a friend, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've known him for so many years. And
you're very lucky to be able to have him as a friend. So that's
absolutely. So, and get some good laughs with Bazza. You do as well.
Some of the stuff that comes out of my mouth, I'm like, really? But it's good. It's a good laugh. It's nice. I mean, you need a little bit of banter at work, and
you need a lot of banter. Yeah, a lot of banter. Exactly. Talking about culture, going back, talking about culture, I know I walked into the office the other day, and he's a brand spanking new barbecue set up, you know, just right beside the office, and I'm like, what the hell's this? And the girls are like, we needed a barbecue. And I went, why? And they've gone, so we're going to have a sausage or something at work? Like, we just, you know, and they get all these ideas. They're constantly going out and buying stuff. And so now we've got this, it's a better barbecue than what I've got at home. It's actually, I'm just thinking, why don't you take the one from home and I'll take the new one? But
yeah, just do it. Just sneak in. Just secretly take it.
It's really important to, have that banter and have that that fun in the office. And I'm spewing at the moment though, Alyssa, because our security cameras aren't working at the moment, so I can't check what the girls are. They're always up to no good in the office, always up to no good. And you may have seen some of the TikToks that they've put up, you know. And I'm like, hilarious. I'm paying them by the hour, and they're making TikToks at work.
Oh my goodness. Sounds like Barry.
So I'm sort of like, I can't check on them at the moment because my security cameras are down, and they know it too. So they're probably getting up to all sorts. But it's I want them to have fun. I think that if people enjoy you can have the shittest job in the whole world. If you've got the culture behind you and a great team, you love working there.
Yeah, I think that's what I love about AllPro as well. Like, even though, you know, sometimes it might get a little bit boring, or you might be in the same routine and stuff, but you know, I can pick up the phone if I'm on the road and talk to Barry, and we just talk about anything, like, or talk about my love life. You get some I was just about to ask, what do you talk about? What do you talk about on the road? Oh, I mean, I'm always calling him, asking questions about what's to do, like in some situations with work, or because I always like to make sure that I'm giving like the right information to people and do it, like tackling a situation like the best way possible. So, and he's pretty good with it. Like sometimes I'll call him like 4 times in a row, like, or I'll forget what I'm saying and I'll like, I can't remember, I'll give you a call back. And or like I think me and Barry like have a good friendship, like where I mean we can have it like both sides. We can be like really good friends, but we can also be really good like co-workers and stuff. Like I mean, as long as there's that boundary, but also like it's good having, I mean, I've met people in the workplace that have become like lifelong friends now. Like, so it's, we kind of like, the boys have a laugh because, you know, my love life or my dating like stories there, or they are hilarious. Like, so they love it. And
that's a whole other interview. That's a whole other.
Yeah. Or hear what I get up to on the weekend and stuff like that. And it's really good, but they're also caring and stuff like that. Like, and it's just a really good, it's just probably the best work environment I've ever had. And in a way, like I was very shocked that it was with, like, I'd find that working with guys and stuff. Like it's pretty crazy. I mean, you'd think working with all a bunch of women that, you know, you deal with like a lot of similar issues and stuff like that. So
I couldn't think of anything worse than being stuck with all women.
Some women, it's just, I'm just like, oh my God. So it's been very nice working with guys. And
hence why with Whipham, we actually we have males now as members as well, and I think it's really important. They are our biggest supporters, and that's one thing I will say. The men are our biggest supporters in this industry, and it is so great to see. And I think it's I think, you know, we're all heading in the right direction, which is awesome. And we will have to finish up because otherwise Barry will kill me, because he's probably got a job booked in for you at 10 o'clock. But we will have to finish up. But look, Alyssa, it has been an absolute pleasure, and I'm really excited to see where you're going to go. And I know you're going to go far, because I know that Barry's going to make that happen.
Yeah, probably.
I really am. I'll be keeping in touch anyway, obviously, because I talk to Barry quite often, and I can't wait till the leadership conference. It's actually not that far away. It's in March next year, and
we are going so fast.
It is going really fast. I'm going to make sure that you are there, because I'm
sure I'll be there.
I want to introduce you to so many people.
He'll drag me if he has to. He's like, you're going to this conference.
Well, we are actually doing a blokes day as well, to keep the blokes happy. So the blokes can come along, but they just won't be allowed in our room. That's all. But it's going to be some great fun. We've got some good workshops and great speakers lined up, and international people as well, which is awesome. So but I'll be keeping in touch with Barry and making sure that you are there, and and get you to hook up with my girl. And you're so similar, you even look the same. I've actually put photos up of you, and so many people have gone, oh, it's another photo of Cherie she's put up on the newsletter. And I'm like,
Barry told me about that, and I was like,
oh, that one's Alyssa, that's not Cherie. They just so, and so I'll have to get him to send some more photos. I need photos for the newsletter, because I don't like stock images. I can't stand stock images. We like to put, proper photos in of the women out there, just not in the field, but also in the office.
No, definitely.
Boring old office, but So, well, thank you, Alyssa, and we'll keep in touch. And
yes, definitely.
It wasn't that bad, was it? We did okay.
No, really good.
For an hour.
Very well.